Are we on? Yes, we are on, ladies and gentlemen. We've been streaming for over 3 seconds, which is a little bit of a delay because I should have been right on it. But ladies and gentlemen, the Summer of Carnage, I'm going to be talking about that this morning with you guys. We have got more regions in England are going to be likely declaring themselves in drought today or this week or sometime. I'm going to be going off the mainstream media and talking about that. Look, guys, I've given you guys so many warnings about the water system of the United Kingdom. I'm going to give you a scenario right now of the United Kingdom, and then I'm going to ask you a question. I'm not going to say this is going to happen. I am going to ask you a question, and then hopefully I won't get the video banned for giving false information out there. But ladies and gentlemen, look, while we're on, can you do me a favor? Like, comment, subscribe, buttons down here if you're watching on YouTube, buttons up here if you're watching on TikTok, and help this channel grow, because ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, that is the only way this channel grows, with your fantastic fingers. So, guys, listen, the news of the day, what people are talking about in the United Kingdom right now, is this drought that's on its way. Now, there's also been fires in the United Kingdom, fires in farmers' fields, fires breaking out in substations, fires for fire's sake. And look, guys, I would speculate that the drier it gets, the more likelihood of these fires there are. Now, whether that is a bad guy going up there with like his little balaclava on and his suit going, or whether that's actually, you know, an actual accident. The risk of fire goes up when things are drier. That is an inevitability, guys. That's not controversial. That is objective fact. Now, in the United Kingdom, in fact, hang on, let me get this news article up from the mainstream, guys. I'll get this up and I'll just read it off. I'll just read it off real quick. Where are we? So more of England likely to be declared in drought. More English regions expected to join North West and Yorkshire in an official drought on Tuesday after yet another hot and dry spell of weather. The announcement is likely to come after the National Drought Group, which manages preparations for dry conditions in England, meets on Tuesday morning. So it does look like it's coming, guys. It does look like there's more regions expected to say they're in drought. And look, guys, I'm going to say, call me a tinfoil hat, Raven, call me a tinfoil hat. But I'm going to say this was always planned and this was always going to happen. Why? Because you don't get that media outcry. You don't get that media outrage. For example, if the media just say, right, Yorkshire Water, they're in a drought, give it a couple of weeks. Northwest Water, give it a couple of weeks. Another water, give it a couple of weeks. You kind of, you know, you don't get that big media boom. If everybody at once was going to go, yeah, the whole of England is suffering. Guys, look, we know from Yorkshire Water's very own website that we've had the driest conditions since records began. So what I would say with this, guys, as more regions declare droughts, water is going to become more valuable. Right now, guys, listen, guys, in the supermarket right now, it's like £1.20 or something in or maybe £1.25, I don't know. But it's like £1.20 or something in Aldi right now to get yourselves a 5 litre bottle of water. Guys, look, go and stock yourselves up on water, because as more people try to meet this demand now, and listen, if the reservoirs are low and people keep taking out of those reservoirs, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think he's going to magically reappear? We are ridiculously reliant in the United Kingdom on, hang on guys, I need to click some buttons. We are ridiculously reliant in the United Kingdom on rain. And unfortunately, if there's no rain in the UK, then we don't get any water. That is the reality, guys, okay? If we don't get any rain, we don't get any water. And I do think this is the way we're heading. So let's just take that for a second, guys, okay, as it's going to happen, all right? Let's just consider later on today, more regions in England declare water shortages, declare they're in a drought, okay? These bad guys, these near-peer adversaries who are potentially living in our country, do you think they're going to go, oh, poor Britain, let's try and help them and bring them more water in? Or do you think they're going to go, strike the beast while it's wounded? And then do you think they're going to go and think, right, okay, they're already suffering with the water. it's not going to take that much because it's more vulnerable now. It's not going to take that much more of a push. It's not going to take that much more of a push, i.e. a drill, you know, to separate that water from the water from the reservoir, what's left, from the people that are trying to turn their taps on. I do think it's coming, guys. I really do. So what I would say, keep an eye out for this on the news, guys, and all my videos are public record now. We're streaming on YouTube and we are streaming on TikTok. What I would say is, in the next couple of days, weeks, months maybe, what you would likely see, if there is some sort of saboteurs acting behind the scenes, what you would likely see are burst water mains, burst water pipes, spillages, water pumping stations stopped working. And we'll never really get to the bottom of this because it's that the thing with sabotage is you don't know. But, you know, what we know is that these people are operating already in our country. Guys, I guess we're on now. Can you do the things? I may have asked you before. I think I have. Can you hit the buttons up there? Share my live, share, comment, subscribe, all those things that help this channel grow. Because I do, last night I was going off X, guys. Last night I was on X. And I've got a few videos just to watch, guys. Now, these are absolutely insane, these videos, guys. I'm just going to let you guys listen to these. Where are we? Let me just open these up. I should have done this before. Hang on. So I've got some interesting videos for you guys to listen to. I think I'm just going to play them all at once. Not all at once, obviously, one after the other. You know, because it's just bonkers what's happening, like, to the United Kingdom. We are absolutely broken. Not only are we broken, we're at full capacity and nobody's got any money. And now it turns out, the one I'll start with here, guys, is, I think this was from, I think this was from this morning. This was from GB News this morning. So, you know how they said they're going to smash the gangs and we're going to do X, Y, and Z. And then we said we are going to choose, like, the United Kingdom are going to choose the people that come to our country, you know, and they're saying that we're only having high-skilled workers come to the United Kingdom. Well, listen to this video for a second, guys. Listen to this video. So this is from GB News this morning, guys. So this is what... so in the United Kingdom, this is what gets you a visa.
A single halal butcher sponsored 918 visas between 2021 and 2020.
So first of all, one single butcher sponsored like over 900 visas to the United Kingdom. So he must be employing a lot of people.
3. Does that shock you? Well, you might not know the full, mind-blowing, truly unbelievable, supposedly skilled jobs list that can get you a visa into the UK. So strap your...
Guys, while I'm playing this, I'm literally just going to jump off and caffeinate myself, but I will be back in a second.
...yourselves in, hide your TV remotes because you're going to internally combust when I read this out to you. Bear in mind, this list gets progressively worse the longer I read it. I've got it here for you. Drama teachers. These are people who can come over to the UK on a skilled worker visa. Drama teachers, librarians, social media influencers, Pilates teachers, yoga teachers, garden designers, cycling instructors, hairdressing and beauty salon managers. Ironically, we've also got careers advisors coming over here. Also, ironically, job centre officers.
So guys, listen, if you guys are just joining, this is a list of jobs that classes you as, this is a list of jobs that classes you as a high-skilled worker in the United Kingdom, and that you will get your visa application accepted.
Political canvassers, and here is where it really starts to sting a bit. Equality, diversity, and inclusion managers. What sort of skills do they have? Mystery shoppers. And get this.
So if you put on your visa application to the United Kingdom that you are a qualified mystery shopper, Guys, listen, I don't even know what a mystery shopper is. I've never used one. Have you ever used a mystery shopper? Have you ever been, oh God, guys, it's an emergency. I need a skilled worker. I need a skilled worker. Sean, Sarah, get on the internet and find me a good mystery shopper. Oh yeah, Sean, my dad used a good mystery shopper the other day. I've got her number. Carol, yeah, you still doing mystery shopping? I am, yes, Sarah, what's wrong? Oh, thank God. Can you, like, mystery shopper? Now, in the United Kingdom, guys, if you are a mystery shopper, you are a high-skilled worker. It gets worse, though, guys. It really does.
Bingo hall managers, trolley collectors, the people who take your trolleys outside the supermarket.
I'm done. I am done, ladies and gentlemen. If you are, right, imagine now you're in like, imagine now, right, guys, you're in like Africa or somewhere, or like, one of these, what we perceive as a third world nation. Anyway, I'd say the United Kingdom is heading that way. Like, you're in one of these third world nations or something, and you're like, oh, do you know what? I think I'm going to educate myself and, try and get out of this country. All right, what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to do a degree in chemistry, and, I'm going to try and get a job with, the pharmaceutical company. Oh, yeah, well done. What about you? Oh, I'm going to try and do a degree in physics, astrophysics, and try and get in the space industry. Oh, wow, fantastic. What about you? Oh, I'm gonna do some training to be a trolley collector. I'm gonna be a trolley collector and get a job in the United Kingdom, because trolley collectors in the United Kingdom are high-skilled workers, ladies and gentlemen. Go figure. Who would have thought that? I certainly would have. But there you go, guys. Okay. Apparently, trolley collectors in the United Kingdom are high-skilled workers. Right, guys. Listen, I'm gonna jump now on something that's quite solemn. This is a speech from Chris Phillips in, this is a speech from, do you know what, I'm not even going to play that because it's a little bit distasteful. I'll probably play that towards the end of the video. I'm going to play you guys Rupert Lowe at the moment, guys. We're having Rupert Lowe next. Listen, I do think he's turning into the Jeremy Clarkson of politics, guys. He really is. Like, Rupert Lowe, for me, is the Jeremy Clarkson of politics. I mean, the guy's savage. Right, anyway, guys, listen, I'm just going to play you a video now, a Rupert Lowe video that he posted the other day. I think, I can't remember when it may have been, it was actually, yesterday, sorry, he posted this.
Illegal migrants living in Britain is an embarrassment. It's a stain on the record of successive governments. These fighting age men, and most are fighting age, are bringing crime. They're straining public services, and we pay £10 billion every year for the privilege. They're coming from countries with backward attitudes towards women and girls. Afghanistan, Iraq, Eritrea. Why are they here? No one voted for this mess. Decent men and women are sick of seeing their towns and cities overrun, changed beyond recognition. The mass deportation of every last illegal migrant is a must.
So, look, guys, when everybody's talking, like, the problem here is people are a year behind, and that's what I found doing, doing these channels and doing social media. We, like you guys, we are a year ahead, or everybody else is a year. No, we're current because we can't see the future. We are current, but everybody else is a year behind, guys. Everybody else is a year behind. So if you go and speak to, it's getting a bit hot in here. So if you go and speak to people, people are saying, oh, I'm going to vote reform in the next election. Oh, I'm voting reform. I'm going to vote reform. That's what I thought as well, guys, a year ago. Maybe a little bit longer than a year ago, maybe 2 years ago or something. I thought a vote for reform would change things. And look, guys, this is not a diss on Nigel Farage. I've met him once. I'm not best buddies with him or anything. I'm not in any group chats with him. I've met Nigel. He comes across as a very, very intelligent guy and a very genuine guy as well. And when people are throwing dirt on him, I'm like, my experience of him just wasn't that. Anyway, I do think, and it's not a diss against reform in general, it's a diss against the whole political system in the United Kingdom, guys, okay? It's broken to the context that people get in power by saying whatever they want you to hear. Then once they're in power, they do whatever they're told to by their donors. And that's the reality, guys, unfortunately. And I just don't see a way forwards right now in the United Kingdom. And every one of these crazy things that happens, you know, it just pushes me a little bit further to leaving the United Kingdom. So I've got another video to show you guys here. The video is titled "A Liverpool Migrant Was Caught Photographing Children. A Parent Deals with Him Appropriately." Now, I'm going to play the video, guys. You can't see anything in the video. I'm just going to play you the audio. So there's a kid, and he's walking up past, there's like a lake behind him or something, and there's a kid walking up by a river, and the kid stops, and he says, who I believe is to his dad, yeah, he was laid on his side taking pictures of me, Dad, or something like that. You'll hear it anyway.
What are you taking pictures of kids for?
Right, I'm going to stop it there, guys, because there's some choice words being said. But you know now, right? You know, every time I like, this is going to chill you to the bones, guys. This is going to chill you to the bones. Can you guys remember, like a couple of days ago, there was an attack thwarted? Let me get this up because I don't want to get done for fake news. Hang on, guys. Because we've not heard anything more like this. Right, so boys, so this is actually, guys, so this is from, right, okay, so let's just contextualize what we've just seen there, all right? We've seen a video, well, you didn't say you heard it, I saw it, I'm sure you guys have seen it yourselves, but we saw a video of a parent asking somebody who they claim is a migrant, and I don't know if this is true, you know, asking, why are you taking pictures? You know, why are you taking pictures of kids? Which I think, personally, as a parent, I think that's a fair question, guys. I do. I think it's a fair question. Why are you taking pictures of kids? You know, we've got girls. I think it was very peculiar if I saw a gentleman in a park taking pictures of kids. You just don't do it. It's not part of our culture. Maybe it's part of cultures in other cultures. Part of cultures in other cultures. Maybe it's accepted in other cultures. I don't know. So let's just keep that to the back of our minds, guys, okay? People taking pictures of kids. And I'm just going to read you this headline here now, guys, from the Times. Teen planned Southport-style attack on dance school and Oasis gig. The 17-year-old who praised the other person had the same training manual, and the article goes on and it talks about this guy, this 17-year-old. That's all we're knowing, guys, at the moment. All we know, he was a 17-year-old. And I thought, I'm not even going to talk about that, guys. So a 17-year-old was planning a Southport-style attack. Allegedly, on his phone, mainstream media are talking that this guy on his phone had pictures of a dance school on his phone. He had routes planned, and he had the shiny things, the big ones that you can buy online that you don't eat your dinner with, but it wouldn't be a fork or a spoon. He bought those things online as well. So this guy was very close to doing that, and he also wanted to do an attack on the first day of the Oasis concert. Look, guys, I'm so glad this guy got thwarted. So now you start to think, right, okay, why are people taking pictures of kids? Like, you know, why are people taking pictures of kids? And this is all adding into the Summer of Carnage, guys. It's all being put together, you know, to this whole rhetoric of the Summer of Carnage that, I believe is coming because there's so much critical mass here in the United Kingdom at the moment, guys. It's absolutely unbelievable. Right, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let me get your comments and let me get your views, and we'll give some commentary. Right, I'm gonna do TikTok first, guys, and then I'll jump over to YouTube. Right, good morning, everyone. Look, guys, there's so many people joining. Good morning, everyone. Guys, listen, if you've not done so already, can you hit the follow button if you're watching on TikTok? And can you hit the subscribe button if you are watching? Do you know what, guys? Can you hit the follow buttons, subscribe buttons, the like buttons, the bell notifications? Throw a comment in if you've never done so before. Right, Laurie C saying good morning. Jody Lee, I think it's Jody Lee. Jody Lee saying morning, everyone. it's getting a bit hot in here. I thought it was going to be a bit chilly today, but the weather's it's getting a bit hot outside, even though it's still quite overcast. Morning, Debbie Doo. Morning, Linda Lou. I read they have told farmers not to water the crops. Really? Is that a thing now, guys? Is that a thing? Is this doubled up to the war on food that we've got? Literally a war on food. So, guys, look, let's just develop this comment a bit. So, Linda Lou here. Linda Lou on TikTok is saying she heard the farmers have been told not to water the crops. Now, if you think crops need water, otherwise they don't give food, that's kind of a bad thing, and that means we're going to have less food, or at least the price of food is going, well, do you know what, we are going to have less, and that's going to drive the price up. I would double this up, guys. I would double this up with the fact that I think bad guys are going to be setting fire to fields, guys. I really do. I think we're going to have a situation in the United Kingdom where bad guys are starting to set fire to farmers' fields. Why? Well, think about it, guys. If you get 3 meals a day paid for by the taxpayer, it's not going to affect you in the pocket, is it? We are paying this for ourselves. Like Rupert Lowe said, we are paying for the privilege of deconstruction. Sharon Owen is saying good morning. Sarah May Gen X is saying good morning. So is Cosmic. Cosmic is saying tap and like and share. Thank you so much, Cosmic. And if you guys can do so, please like, share, comment, subscribe, all those things, guys. Sharon Owen is saying Trump sending weapons to Ukraine, but Europe can pay for it. Yeah, guys, listen, it's like Trump's played a blinder here. Like, whether you like Trump or not, I personally do. He's flawed. Yes, he's a man, but I would much rather have Trump in charge than, what was another name? Kamala Harris. So it does look like Donald Trump is sending weapons to Ukraine, kind of in the context that I would be sending stuff to somebody else if they're paying for it, and then they can give that to a gift to someone else. So it does look like what's happening, guys. My understanding of this whole weapons deal for Ukraine is Donald Trump is selling stuff to Europe. The Europeans are obviously buying that with taxpayers' money. That taxpayers' money is going to America, and then those things that they've bought are then getting given as a gift to the Ukrainians. And this is how it works, guys. This is how the whole military-industrial complex works, okay? A country is struggling, a country is in distress. Here, we're going to help you out. Oh, thank you so much. What are you going to do? I'm going to give you all this free stuff. Oh, thank you so much for this free stuff. Right, okay. Have you got those launchers, those things that you put the other things in that go up? Yes, we've got them. Are they working? Yeah, they're brilliant. They're fantastic. Right, okay. I'm not going to give you any of the things to fire out the end of it anymore. Oh, really? We've built all our systems and all our defensive network on this, and all our computer systems are now integrated. Yeah, sorry, mate. We just, you guys need to pay for it now. Oh, all right, okay. Right, we'll pay for it. And that's how they make the money. This whole, since 2022, it could be argued, and I certainly would argue, that this was the investment phase. Now, the investment of manpower, the investment phase of munitions, and the investment phase. Now, what you would be looking, it would be the profiteering phase. Linda Lisu is saying, morning, Sean, have you heard about the schoolgirl from rugby? No, I've not heard about the schoolgirl from rugby. I will just Google it now real quick. Schoolgirl from rugby. Yeah, sorry, I did hear about that. I didn't realize she was from rugby. Yeah, so there's been a girl. So they were saying they were going to have a culture day at this school in rugby, where we're celebrating cultures around the world. And a girl turned up in a Union Jack. Sorry, not Union Jack. It's not on a ship. I do apologize. A Union flag dress. She was sent home because they were only wanting other cultures. They were only wanting to celebrate other cultures, not British culture. Aline Hamilton is saying good morning. Cosmic is saying companies use them to check the company's performance is on par with mystery shoppers. Oh, right, okay. So earlier on we was talking about the absolute hilarious scenario we have in the United Kingdom now, whereby you can get Like you know how in the United Kingdom they said we're only going to take high-skilled workers. We only want the best. We only want the best doctors, scientists. And listen, guys, I'm going to talk about doctors in a minute. All right, I'm going to talk about doctors in a minute. We only want the best doctors, engineers, scientists, architects. It turns out that list of high-worth workers include mystery shoppers and trolley collectors. So there we have it, guys. But Cosmic is saying the companies that actually audit this are just hilarious. Google is saying China vows deeper support for Russia. Yeah, look, guys, this was always going to happen. This was always going to happen. The Americans are selling things to the Europeans to give to the Ukrainians, and the Chinese are selling things to the. You can see what's happening now, guys, can't you? You can see what's happening. Linda Lou is saying they take pictures of kids in our local park and verbal innuendos. So Linda Lou. So, right, I need to be careful with what I'm saying here, guys. I need to be very careful with what I'm saying. Last year, when there was the riots in Rotherham, at the hotel, behind that hotel, there's like a reservoir. It's like a reservoir, like we call it like a park, and people used to go and walk their dogs around it. It got to a stage where people were too scared to go there. People just didn't go. Because of what Linda Lou's saying. Now, that hotel's being closed down and life's being given back to that hotel, and people go walking their dogs and people let their kids run around. And, it does seem like the dynamics of that reservoir have changed. But yeah, it is a thing that women do go walk the dogs. Women go, listen, you know what, Linda Lou, as strange as this sounds, I was telling my friend in Ukraine, European women are starting to get pigs as pets. Googly is saying EU close to new sanction package. Again, guys, like these sanctions against Russia, I don't think they're working, guys. I really don't think they're working. And Linda Lewis saying my granddaughter is having a sleepover at school. I'm so worried. Wow. Yeah. That is, so I don't even know what to say with this, Linda Lou. So Linda Lou's granddaughter is having a sleepover at school. First of all, I've never heard of a sleepover at school. I've never heard of so I don't know. I don't even know what to say about that. I mean, I've never heard of a sleepover at school. I've not, guys. Oh, hang on. Let me see what's going on in the chat. So Debbie Doobs, look, guys, I agree with Debbie. So Googly and Debbie Doobs are talking about the sanctions, and I don't think, guys, the sanctions make any difference. Okay, let me rephrase that. Okay, I don't think the sanctions make any active difference to, I don't think the sanctions make an active difference to Russia at the moment, guys. Maybe the initial sanctions, yes, but right now, all these sanctions do, they drive the wedge between any commercial ties that the East and the West have. So now you have East and West having further and further commercial ties, and that increases the, what's the word I'm looking for? That increases the likelihood of, full-scale conflict. Hang on, guys, quite a few comments. Right. I've done that. We've done that one. Where are we? And Silence is so Silence is saying here that Donald Trump has now put a 50 day is given Vladimir Putin 50 days to react, or they're gonna take it to the next phase. Like I can remember, it was probably, in fact, I think it was on the 27th of May. It was on the 27th of May when Donald Trump gave Vladimir Putin 2 weeks to react. So he's still not reacted. So, where do we go with this? Do we just keep giving people more time? You best to, right, Vladimir, I'm going to give you 2 weeks. Okay, Donald, but what will you do in 2 weeks if I do nothing? If you don't do anything, I'm telling Putin now, if he doesn't do anything in 2 weeks, by the Lord as my witness, I'm going to give him 50 days. What? If he doesn't react within 2 weeks, if he doesn't stop this war within 2 weeks, I'm going to give him 50 days to react. That makes no sense. Like, okay, so if I do not respond in 2 weeks, you give me 50 days? You heard me, Putin. Now don't make me say that again. No, don't worry, Donald. I understand perfectly clear. What did he say, Vladimir? I don't know. I think he said if he gives me 2 weeks, then he will give me 50 days. So he will give you 64 days? I don't know what he means. I just do what I want anyway. Anyway, guys, right, let me jump up, guys. Let me jump up. Our primary camp on the field every year says, Sharon Owen is saying, our primary camp on the field every year. I don't know what that means, Sharon. I don't know what that means. Our primary school camp on the field every year. Right, okay, fair enough, right, okay. I was a little bit, you caught me off guard there. Linda Lou is saying, parents too scared here, 20 odd, oh, hang on a minute. Right, Linda Lou, where are you? Where are you, Linda Lou? Right, parents too scared here. 20 odd men in the park hang around shops. It's terrible. It is, guys. It's bonkers. And do you know what, guys? You know, all those parents that are scared, they're paying for this with their taxes, guys. You know, people who are scared are paying for this with their old taxes. And then Jenks is saying, Trump asked Zelensky if they could hit Moscow if given the right weapons. This is apparently being reported on the Mail Online. Right, guys, let me get this up because this is the sort of stuff that gets me banned. Where have I just typed that? I don't even know where I just typed that. Yeah, 13 minutes ago, ladies and gentlemen. Guys, breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. This is from the Mail Online, and thank you for that, Jenks. So guys, listen, we have got some breaking news from the Mail Online, published 13 minutes ago, okay? I'm just breaking news, guys, okay? Listen, I'm just going to read this from the Mail Online, all right? I've not seen this, guys. I've not seen this. I'm literally just going to read this off the screen. This is from the Mail Online, published 10/17. Trump asked Zelensky if Ukraine could hit Moscow if given the right weapons as part of a strategy to make Russians feel the pain of the war. President Donald Trump has asked Vladimir Zelensky whether he could strike Moscow if the US provided long-range weapons. So first of all, guys, I think this is a non-article, but we'll continue. Vladimir Zelensky. So, Vladimir, can you hit Moscow? Can you hit St. Petersburg too? Like, St. Petersburg's closer. Trump asked during the 4th of July call between the US and the Ukrainian leaders. The Financial Times has reported. So it was the Financial Times has reported this, but I don't know why I'm getting this in the Daily Mail. Citing people briefed on the discussions, they said Zelensky replied, absolutely, we can if you give us the weapons. Trump signaled his support for the idea, describing the strategy as intended to make them, the Russians, feel the pain and force the Kremlin onto the negotiating table. Look, guys, okay, the Ukrainians have had the capacity to strike Moscow. The Ukrainians have had the capacity to strike anywhere. I say anywhere, I mean anywhere of any significance, basically, in Russia for quite a long time. So I think this is a non-article, really, because they've had that capacity anyway. I think what they may be talking about this en masse, but again, I'm struggling to see what they can do that they can't do already. I'm just trying to skim through this, guys. While I'm actually talking and reading at the same time. It's a new skill I've learned. But look, guys, you can understand, like, let's just take this from and I will come onto the YouTube, guys. I'm just conscious the YouTube is going crackers at the moment. So what you've got to look at, guys, is like the optics from the Russian side. So imagine if you're there now, you're sat in Russia, in Moscow, in St. Petersburg, or one of the oblast areas, you know, and you're looking at this and you're thinking, well, hang on a minute. America's saying they're going to give weapons to Ukraine to, well, hang on a minute, what have I done? I didn't get involved in this war. And that's what we've got to understand, guys, okay? I would say like 90% of the Russians don't actually care about this conflict, but you've got a percentage who are pushing this agenda. Like most things, guys, you know, people in countries, most of them anyway, you know, they just want to get on with their lives. They just want to take their kids to school, take their kids to the park. So, you know, you've got to look at this from the optics from the other side. I think this is just going to make things worse, to be honest. But again, you know, how do you not make things worse? Because there doesn't seem like there's any, it doesn't seem like there's any slowdown of the intensity from the Russians. Right, guys, I'm going to jump over to YouTube because there's loads of comments on YouTube. Eagle Eye PI is saying good morning, everyone. I see Debbie Doobs is over there as well. Monokrov is saying, where I live, the police presence around the streets has been off the charts recently, seeing at least 3+ police cars every day now on patrols. Where are you, Monokrov? Where are you, may I ask? May I ask where you are? Same here in Liverpool, 4 police. All right, so people are in the chat. People are in the chat talking about the increase in police activity. Paul Sullivan. Guys, listen, I have a problem when I read words. My mind works faster than my mouth, or maybe my mouth works faster than my mind. You know, I read something and I think I know what he says, and then I'll just come out and read it. But anyway, Paul Sullivan is saying, do you believe Trump has not told Putin like him or not? Trump has always liked Putin, and Putin Trump has for trust he is destroyed the USA. Right, I don't understand that. Hang on. Do you believe Trump has not told Putin like him or not? Trump has always liked Putin and Putin Trump. As for the trust, he is destroyed. So I think behind the scenes, ladies and gentlemen, like all these people know each other, right? All these rich people, they all know each other. Like I can remember, can you guys remember when David Cameron was the Prime Minister of Britain, obviously? When David Cameron, it was slightly involving David Cameron, but you'll see where I'm going with this. So when David Cameron was in charge of the UK, there was the Panama accounts scandal where people had been funneling their money to Panama accounts because they didn't have to pay tax or something. Well, it turns out that at the time, Vladimir Putin and Petro Poroshenko, who was the then president of Ukraine, they both used the same bank in Panama. So, like, you know, all these people at the top levels, they all know each other, and I'd say they don't have hostilities towards each other. And for those guys, it just is what it is. Monokrov, again, is saying, I can only imagine how difficult it is and how skilled one must be to be a mystery shopper. Yeah, guys, listen, if you're just joining for the first time, breaking news, ladies and gentlemen, and this was reported by GB News. If you are a mystery, right, guys, listen, guys, this is a call. Can you all share this, guys? Because this is a call. If there's any mystery shoppers out there, you know, maybe if you're like, I don't know, if you're struggling, if you're in some third world country and you're struggling, you can't pay the bills. Here in the United Kingdom, we have a shortage of mystery shoppers. We need more mystery shoppers. It was only the other day, guys. It was only the other day, you know, we was on the phone and Sarah came in. She's like, Sean, we need a mystery shopper. I was like, why? She's like, our mystery shopper, they've moved somewhere. They've retired because they've earned so much money. I'm like, oh my God, we need to find another mystery shopper. Quick, get on the internet. Do you know what? Hang on. I'm going to Google this, guys. Give me a second. Mystery shopper jobs UK. I don't even know what this is, guys. I don't even know what a mystery shopper is. Mystery shopping jobs in the UK involve posing as a regular customer to evaluate the service and experience at various businesses. These jobs are typically offered by market research companies or directly by businesses themselves. To become a mystery shopper, you'll need to register with one or more mystery shopping companies and complete their application form, which may include a questionnaire or even a test. Like, why am I not a mystery shopper, guys? Why am I like, so let me get this right. Let me get this right, okay? Let me get this right. Let me get this right. So you can apply for a job in the United Kingdom, and as part of that job, you just go to restaurants all day and eat dinners. Am I reading that right? Am I reading that right? And we've got a shortage of those people in the United Kingdom. Guys, listen, I'm absolutely astounded. Absolutely astounded. I didn't know what a mystery shopper. Listen, I think I'm going to apply for a mystery shopper job. Right. Clive Lewis is saying, Google the words school backwards. Right. Okay. Google the words school backwards. Right. Let's school. Lahooks. So I've just got a, right. Okay. Lahooks. Let me do Lahooks. So Lukes can refer to several. So this is school backwards, guys. I'm literally just, I don't know where I'm going with this, but Clive Lewis on YouTube who just said, Google the word school backwards. And it's, loose or something, can refer to several things, including a dative form of lahooch, a type of medicine, slang term for valuable loot, or the stage name for a UK mind reader or mentalist. I don't know where we're going with this, Clive. I think I must have missed something wrong. Clive, if you're still watching, can you tell me where we're going with that? Because I don't know where we were going with that. And Slim is saying, wasting people's time for no good reason, nuisance callers. Yeah, maybe you can get a job as a nuisance caller. And then John is saying, what's your ethnic heritage? Oh, thank you, John, for asking what my ethnic heritage is. My ethnic heritage is French, believe it or not. My family came over to the United Kingdom in the 11th century from France. They settled in North Yorkshire and they made their way down. That is my ethnic heritage. So what's your ethnic heritage, John? What's your ethnic heritage? I don't know. I would say obviously I class myself, I class myself as English, but as far as I can trace my family lineage back, it comes from the family. Our family came from France in the 11th century. So I don't know. Does that class me? Does that class me as English? I don't know. Right, let me jump up and get these comments on. Let me get these comments on TikTok, guys. There's quite a few comments just jumped down on TikTok. Hang on, let me move the screen. Guys, listen, if you're on, can you do me a big favor, please? Can you hit the buttons up here, the follow? If you're watching on the follow buttons, if you're watching on TikTok, if you're watching on YouTube, down below there. Look, guys, the like, the follow, the subscribe. I was so close. Oh, T. Hang on. T, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for resubscribing. And thank you to all the subscribers, guys. Honestly, thank you so much for the subscribers. And thank you to T, who has just resubscribed. So, hang on. Did your Debbie Doobs is saying, did your family come on a dinghy? Do you know what, guys? They probably did. Do you know what? I'm probably descended from a... Do you know what? I am descended from a boat migrant. I will 100%... Guys, I will have. Let me have a look at the definition of a dinghy. I don't think a dinghy has to be made of rubber. Hang on, hang on, guys. So the definition of a dinghy is a small boat for recreation or racing, especially an open boat with a mast and sails. Guys, I'm a dingy migrant. I am a dingy migrant. I'm descended from dingy migrants from France. I'm a dingy migrant from France, guys. I am a dingy migrant from France. I should have that in my bio, shouldn't I? Your favorite dingy migrant from France. But yeah, so like, guys, obviously back then in the 11th century, in the 11th century, there was no such thing as, there will be no such thing as passport. I don't think there'll be any such thing as passports. So yeah, I've only just thought of that. Right, yeah, Four Pose is saying tap the screen. Debbie Doobs is saying yes, lol. Cassie is saying, did you see the Newcastle school bus on fire on a trip to Germany? Did your family go? April Lee's in the cupboard again. I hope it's a big cupboard. Linda Lou is saying my heritage is 1195 East Garston Berks. Can't give a name as very rare. Yeah, I understand that. My surname is relatively rare as well. Just 2,000 of us in the world. Oh, Linda Lou, that sounds fantastic. Right, and Sean, Googly is saying, Sean, there's an interesting article on the Telegraph. Googly, what are we talking about on the Telegraph, guys? What are we talking about? Let me just, Googly, can you give me a little bit more information on what the interesting article is on the Telegraph, please? Alicia is saying, you're definitely our favorite dingy migrant. Guys, I'm descended from dingy migrants. I've only just figured it out. In the 11th century, when my family came over from France, they must have, obviously, I don't know, maybe they got a plane. Maybe they got the Boeing 1. Maybe my family came, I don't think they swam. So they must have come over on a dinghy. By dinghy, the definition, the Oxford definition of a dinghy, which would be a small boat for recreation or racing, especially an open top boat with a mast and sail. So there it goes, guys. There it goes. I'm a dingy migrant. Right, hang on, guys. Let me get this chat right. Hang on, guys. Let me get this because there's a new article out. Hang on. Right, so I've got a bit of another update, guys, from Ukraine as of this is literally 4 minutes ago. So this is from 10:42 from the what's just happened? 10:42 from the Telegraph. China vows deeper support for Russia after Trump threat. God. Hang on, guys. Right. China vowed strengthening support for Russia after Donald Trump threatened to impose tariffs on Moscow's trading partners. Xi Jinping, the Chinese president, said the two countries should strengthen mutual support on multilateral forums after meeting Russia's foreign minister in Beijing. The US president on Monday threatened to hit Russia's main trading partners, including China, with 100% tariffs if Putin does not sign a peace deal in 50 days. I don't know, guys. You know what I think is going to happen in 50 days? Absolutely nothing. I think in 50 days, they'll give him another 50 days. I mean, what's 50 days going to put us up to? That's going to put us up to like September or something. Mr. Xi said, following his meetings with Sergei Lavrov on Tuesday, so this has only just happened, that trust between China and Russia had deepened and the two states were setting a model for a new type of international relations. Beijing, a diplomatic and economic ally of Russia, claims that to be neutral in the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. China's foreign minister said it cannot afford for Russia to lose the war because it fears Washington would then shift focus to Beijing, according to leaked reports of a meeting with EU officials. Guys, there is a lot of cloak and dagger going on here behind the scenes. There's a lot of stuff happening here behind the scenes. I mean, we're obviously only getting told what's come out on the mainstream. I would say that behind closed doors, there's a lot of planning being put in place. You know, and there's a lot of, I would say behind closed doors, all this stuff's already planned and the next couple of steps have already been planned. It has an interesting text on the bottom part. Right, I'm just going to scroll down. Are we talking about Dmitry Medvedev? Trump issued a theoretical ultimatum to the Kremlin. The world shuddered, expecting the consequences. Belligerent Europe was disappointed. Russia didn't care. Right. Okay. So what we can see from this, guys, is, you know, again, I've touched on this. I have touched on this already before I read this article. What we're seeing now, guys, is just this widening of the gap between East and, for you guys, East and West. For me, it's East and West. We are seeing the widening of this gap now between East and West. And once these economic ties have gone, once people have, once people have strengthened those, what's the word I'm looking for? Alliances, I guess. Once people have strengthened those alliances, it becomes very hard for a fully fledged conflict not to move forward. And look, guys, I already think we're already in a fully fledged conflict. I don't see any way that we're not. Read the Trump Zelensky, can you? Yeah. So I did speak about that before. I'll just read this real quickly, guys. It's only short. So apparently. Do you know what? I'm not even going to say apparently. This has been reported in the Telegraph, so I think I'm fair in saying this, guys, okay? Trump asked Zelensky, can you strike Moscow? Donald Trump asked Volodymyr Zelensky if he could strike Moscow as he encouraged Ukraine to increase long-range strikes inside Russia, according to reports. The US president told the Ukrainian counterpart that he wanted Ukraine to make them, the Russians, feel the pain and force Putin to the negotiating table. It's not going to happen, guys. It's not going to happen. Vladimir, can you hit Moscow? Can you hit St. Petersburg too? I've already read this, guys, okay? The US president asked on the 4th of July call. The Ukrainian president replied, absolutely, we can if you give us the weapons. I do think this is a non-article, guys, because I think that capacity is already there. I just don't see the case use for it, guys. I don't see the case use at the moment. Yes, okay. Let me unpack that statement, right? At the moment, I don't see that. Like, there's no case. Then there never is any case use for striking civilian areas, right? There's never any case use for striking civilian areas. It doesn't do anything. Only rally more people against your cause. When we're talking about striking military targets, yes, of course, they are legitimate targets. I'm talking about radar domes, production facilities, aircraft manufacturing facilities, aircraft themselves. They're the things that are legitimate military targets. But the Ukrainians already have the ability to strike these targets deep within Russia. So the whole Trump asking Zelensky if you can strike Moscow. Yes, we can, Donald. We've already been doing it many times. Right, I'm just going to jump up, guys, and get these. There's quite a couple of comments jumped up on YouTube. Simon Elliman is saying we're going to have to deport you. Yeah, we're going to have to deport me because apparently I'm a dingy migrant. Paul Sullivan is, hang on a minute, Paul Sullivan here, I think Elon is suffering from the stress, hang on. Has anyone seen Elon Musk lately? Oh, right, okay, I don't know what's happening there, guys. Listen, when I weighed in on Elon Musk, I said, look, guys, I think Elon Musk is a good guy. I think he understands he's in the viper's den. I think he understands the what's going on around him. But I think what he's thinking is, right, if I'm in this den, I can do net good at least, rather than being outside of that fold when I can't do anything. Tanner House is saying, what's that picture of? Tanner House with a picture of like a briefcase or something. He's saying, World War III officially starts in 50 days. Guys, look, I think it's already started. I really do. I mean, there's lots of dates you can say it already started. I think we're waiting in the United Kingdom for the day that it starts in the United Kingdom, because I do think we're going to see mass civil unrest on the streets in the United Kingdom. And you know what, guys? Look, it's not even me saying this now. Like, look, like people all over the internet, everybody's saying things and they're looking at this situation going, wow. Things are so bad here in the United Kingdom at the moment. It's unbelievable, you know, and it's like, you know, the videos we've just shown. In fact, should I go through these again? That one, maybe. Right, I'll do this video, guys. This is from Chris Phillips, okay? So this is from Chris Phillips, and he's a member of Parliament. And this is what he was talking about in, this is what he was talking about. Well, I'll just play the video.
Reports of migrants based in hotels being charged with serious crimes, including rape and sexual assaults on women and children.
Just that sentence in its own, ladies and gentlemen, just that sentence in its own, what are we playing at? And we're playing for, and we are paying for the privilege of this.
Louise Casey has warned that a significant proportion of sexual offences are committed by those seeking asylum. Cases.
So, what we've seen here, guys, okay, what we've seen here, literally in the first sentence, is things that should shiver everybody. And we are paying for this. Every day we are paying money for this. Every day our public services are struggling to meet demand. And we are paying for this, guys. We are literally paying for our own demise, guys, okay?
Like 29-year-old Afghan Sadiq Niksad, convicted of raping a 15-year-old girl. His defense counsel claimed he did not understand this was wrong due to cultural differences. This madness has to stop.
So there we are, guys. You know, if you come to the United Kingdom and you commit a crime, just pretend you didn't know the laws and you'll be fine. Debbie Doobs is saying, do I think there will ever be an official declaration of war in the UK? No, I don't think there will ever be an official declaration of war. I may be wrong about this, okay. So let me rephrase. I don't think there's gonna be an official declaration of war until nobody can deny it. Until like there's bombs going off everywhere, and you know there's British troops actually. Remember, you know there was never actually I don't think there was ever actually a war declared in Afghanistan. I don't think there was actually a war declared in Afghanistan. It was a war on terror. Ah, yes, there was. Right, okay, hang on. Right, I'm pretty sure. I think AI is wrong here, guys. I think AI is wrong here. I'm listening to this, and I think that AI is giving me a wrong answer here. Declaration of war. The US declared war and launched military operations, including airstrikes and ground troop deployments. With the all right, okay. I can't remember when that happened. And I was there. I'm pretty sure, whatever. I thought this was one of those things where it was like a limited military operation, whereby X, Y, and Z happens, but we don't actually declare war. So look, guys, I'll stand by what I said. I don't think we're going to have a situation in the UK where Keir Starmer comes up and he says, we are declaring war on X, Y, and Z, or war has been declared here. I think it's just going to escalate to a situation where You know, they say, oh, we're just putting boots on the grounds as peacekeepers. All those peacekeepers are allowed to do limited offensive operations. All those limited offensive operations actually encompass some really non-limited stuff. Oh, yeah, all those people coming back in black bags, yeah, they're, we're just in a war, guys. We're actually in a war already. We've been in a war since 2022. Google is saying it right there, guys. Nobody declares war these days. It's just, it makes no sense for somebody to come up and say, do we declare war? Google is saying, who needs to declare war where you can just call it a special military operation? China would call their conflict with Taiwan. You could call it a lot of different things, guys. I just don't think it's going to be declared. Yeah. So Debbie Doob. So let me just get this comment, guys, before we switch over to YouTube. So Debbie Dubes is saying, surely if they end up conscripting, war has to be declared. So we were actually, I don't know about you guys, but I'm starting to see lots of military adverts on my TikTok feed, on my ads page. I'm starting to see a lot of these military recruitment things. Anyway, so Britain, remember, in Europe at the moment, guys, they're already conscripted. But Britain, we're going to have the lead role in this coalition of the willing. Now, the reason we've got the lead role is because we have the best strike capacity. So if there's an area, a location, like a town, a city that's got trenches, tanks, whatever, Britain is very good at force projection, pushing troops in there, taking that ground. What Britain can't do is hold it. Now, when you're right at the front and you're at like the teeth arms or the cutting edge, you need to be sharp. So employing lots of conscripts early on wouldn't help. It wouldn't help, guys, all right? It just would not help them. There'll be no case use for conscripting people into the military against their will. You want those motivated people because they're more, they're more competent because they're motivated. So as things progress, and I'm talking like in a couple of years in, that's when you might see the war declared, and that's when you might see conscription come into force in the United Kingdom. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close you guys down now on TikTok. I'm going to jump over to YouTube. I'll be on YouTube for a couple of minutes. Please show your support, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, follow up here on TikTok. Buttons down below on YouTube, and I will see you at 8, hopefully, or a little bit before. What's just happened? Did I just, am I off? No. Yeah, I'll see you guys later on. Right, let's give this a minute to jump over. Hang on. Right, where do I click that? So right, we are just streaming on YouTube now. Matt Smith is saying it's all kicking off in Spain. Yeah, situation in Spain, guys. I think last night there was a mosque burnt down. Pitched battles between pitched battles between local Spanish and I think African migrants, and these are the scenes that I would expect to see in the United Kingdom coming this summer. Hang on. We've been talking about it for such a long time, the summer of carnage. We've been talking about these things happening. And, it does to me anyway, seem like this is an inevitability now. I'm just clicking some buttons on the screen, guys. Give me a second. What am I doing? Where's that gone? I need to click that one. So the scenes in Spain have gone bonkers, guys, okay? It does look like Spain could be under pretty soon, and as these things escalate, and they will escalate, as these things escalate, it does look like the government and the police are losing control because they can't, because it's very hard to control the situation when you've got a limited police force and you've got unlimited amounts of things happening. It's not a scenario where you can say, right, okay, we've got lots of little incidents, only send 2 police officers to 1 incident, where you've got 2 police officers with like 2 riot shields. It's just not going to work. The whole methodology of public order is that, public order is there to public order or public order response, whereby, you know, you send your police forces en masse to protect people or protect buildings, I guess, from public protests that have, you know, potentially turned into riots. You have to do that on force, because if you don't do that on force, you know, you can't, like, how are you going to deal with a crowd? How are you going to deal with a crowd of 50 people or 100 people or 200 people? How are you going to deal with that many, with a crowd of 200 people with two guys with a riot shield? So the people in command, they have to prioritize, and they have to say, right, okay, these buildings are not going to get any help. These locations are not going to get any assistance. Those guys over there, I'm sorry, but they're going to have to fend for themselves. And this is what we're seeing actually in Spain, and I think this is what we're going to see in the United Kingdom. Simon Elliman, do you think Keir will declare martial law in the United Kingdom? He may declare it, but I don't think people are going to listen. Remember, okay, like, to declare martial law, you need to be able to enforce it. And I just don't think they can enforce it. I'll give you the scenario now, guys, that I keep talking about. And we've seen it. In fact, let me get my coffee. Let me get my coffee, because I can caffeinate now. And guys, listen, if you're on, can you please do me a favor? Like, comment, subscribe, down below the buttons, because it really helps me out in the algorithm, guys. You know, it really helps me out. And ultimately, that's the only way we get this message out there. So, and I've said this a few times. So last year, guys, you know, there was a scenario with the protest. Planned protests, the timings were given, the locations were given, you know, and these were all planned. Very easy for the police, you know, it's very easy for the police to say, yeah, John, we're going to have a protest at this location next Wednesday. Yeah, we all need to get in and have a little conflab and see what's happening. Yeah, no worries, mate. Well, I'll come in the morning. In the morning, they get there, they're like, right, they'll have it on a map. They'll be like, right, guys, yeah, these are the locations here. So what we'll do is we'll send one tactical support unit to each location. We'll bolster that with reinforcements from a surrounding police force. And we'll have a QRF, quick reaction force, stationed in a centralized location. We'll have ambulances on call. We'll have fire engines on call. We will have a reserve force on call out of the city, ready to move in. So you've got everything there. You've got everything there set up, and you're ready. What I think is going to happen this summer, you're going to get, and I used the phrase flash mobs, and people didn't like it. They didn't like the word flash mob. But you know what, guys? I can't think of a better one. I can't think of a better one, because they are flash mobs, you know, where you get like a group of about 50 people turning up to, let's just say, a hotel or a shopping, it doesn't really matter where. You're going to get about like 50 people, maybe 100 people turning up unannounced. So you guys have seen the videos of these people going into like hotels, and there's the security guards, and you know the security guards are coming out, and they've got the masks and the faces covered up. Like, you can imagine in the summer holidays, 50 kids turning up, like 16 to like 14, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds, 50 of those kids turning up. What's going to happen there, guys? You know, especially if they start throwing things, we're going to see scenes of this year, guys. Okay, because then the police chief or the duty sergeant, he gets the phone call. Yeah, we've got these incidents happening. What is it? As soon as he says there's a group of people, that will go on another checklist. And on that checklist, it will say, right, that is a public order event. So then he will go through his checklist. He'll be right, I need a minimum of one TSU. I think they're called tactical support units. They may be called something different, or public order unit. I don't know what they're called. I need one unit, because you can't just send a couple of guys. It's not like you can just, who's in the station? Can you all go and put your riot kit on? And it doesn't work like that. Those guys have to be trained, and that's a unit. So you have to call these people in from somewhere. Now, these people, they may or may not be ready. I would speculate they're not ready. So they have to get from wherever they were to the place where all their kit and equipment is. They then have to get their kit and equipment, put their helmets on, put their body armor on, put their shin pads on, their knee pads, their protective body armor. They have to get their shields, their baton shields. They have to get their fire extinguishers. They have to get in the vehicles, and then they have to go to that location. They'll have the sirens on. As soon as those kids hear those sirens, scatter. They're going to be gone. And it's very difficult to police. So then that police chief, what's he going to do? Yeah, John, we turned up here, mate, and there's no one here. Oh, right, okay. Right, stay there for a couple of hours and let me see if I can find these kids. Yeah, no worries, mate. So that's taken a lot of resources up. There's a lot of resources taken up there. Like, if those kids then go to another hotel and start doing the same thing, if there's hotels in close proximity, or if there are multiple events happening on the same day, like, how are the police gonna deal with this? And I'm worried about the safety of everyone here, guys, like the safety of everyone, because when those kids start being overly aggressive to those people inside those people in those hotels are going to come out and meet them with force. And I'm absolutely terrified, guys, of what's going to happen this, and it's all going to be fun and games until somebody gets really hurt. And guys, listen, I do think we're going to see these scenes this year, and then that's going to escalate. There's going to be a one-sided story. There's going to be, there's going to be a counter story, and literally the summer of carnage. We can see this now, guys. We can literally see this. So, literally the crux of this video, the summer of carnage. It's happening in the UK. It's happening in Europe, and it's not just me speculating anymore, guys. We can literally see it all. Hang on, let me jump down. Debbie Doobs is saying, you would join the Home Guard. Will your morals play a part in what you're asked to do? Well, it depends what I'm asked to do, Debbie Doobs. And if you knew me, yes, my morals always play a part. I mean, look, guys, I resigned as a candidate for reform because of my moral compass. I've told many people to go poke it for the sake of a few quid. Yeah, so absolutely, Debbie Dude. My moral compass will play a big part. Tanner House is saying the government is absolutely aware of what's happening. They only care about a military coup. If civilians live in chaos, it's fine. I think we could be closer to him. Like, I know with 100% certainty that there will be, because we used to talk about it ourselves. I know that there will be people in the military, maybe at low levels, talking about a coup, talking about taking over government. But how far you actually get with that, I don't know. I mean, you can imagine a battle group or a battalion, like, for example, if or a regiment, for example, say, for example, the parachute regiment, because they're the finest regiment that the world has ever seen. If a parachute regiment, if the commanding officers of 1, 2, and 3 para came out and they said, right, guys, we're going to take over the government, because the commanding officer of that battalion has the authority to do that. I mean, they have the authority to, absolutely, the commanding officer has the authority to do that. If the commanding officer and the sergeant, look, guys, I'm just saying this, all right? If the commanding officer and the company and the battalion and the regimental sergeant major, if they had a brief and they said, right, this is what we're going to do, I don't know how you'd stop that. Because I think what they do is, I think they get everyone on the top square. They get A company, B company, C company, support company, fill in the gaps. The commanding officer would come up and he'd say, right, fellas, I'm sick of this country. I've spoken to Rupert Lowe. We're going to take control of Westminster, and we're going to change the political system. Can you imagine if 600 guys armed with heavy machine guns, explosives, and small arms marched on Westminster? It's only a little Westminster's only a little building. It's surprisingly when you go to Westminster, it's a bit of a letdown. Anyway. 600 guys go to Westminster, 100 guys provide perimeter security, they close the centre of London down, and then you've got you wouldn't even need a full battalion, guys. You might need company strength to close it down. Who's going to stop that? Literally 600 guys with heavy machine guns set up. Nobody's stopping that. It's not happening. You wouldn't even meet any resistance on the way, and you'd probably be met with cheers. But anyway, that's how a military coup would go. I do think we're a long way away from that. Tracy is saying what's happening. That's what happened in Dublin last year. Riot equipment was moved to locations 1 hour away for storage. Yeah, so people are preempting these things. People are understanding there's a likelihood of these things happening. But guys, look, it's still going to take time to get these people in. It's still going to take time to get these people in their uniform and in their and ready. Matt Smith is saying, "Wait till people get hungry." Matt, I would say wait till people get thirsty. Water shortages, I believe, are on the way, guys. Where did we go with this? So, literally, more of England likely to be declared in drought. Now, this comes today as this announcement is likely to come after the National Drought Group, which manages preparations for dry conditions in England, meet on Tuesday morning. So this may have even already happened. But we are looking like more and more of the United Kingdom are declaring a drought. Monochrome is saying, "I doubt there are any revolutionary moods in the army, and even then, do we really believe anyone past few men would support this?" I don't know. Listen, I was in the parachute regiment for quite a while, and do you know why the parachute regiment is not called the Royal Parachute Regiment? They keep having mutinies. They keep there was a few mutinies, and the parachute regiment, you get the Royal Marines and the Royal this, the Royal that. The parachute regiment are not called the Royal. We can dream, says John Giles. And Simon Elliman says, "To be fair, Sean, I think a lot of soldiers were stepped down." And then AG Aesthetic saying, "Thames Water hosepipe ban in my area." So that's Thames Water, Northwest Water, Yorkshire Water, I think Trent Water. Is that may not even be a thing. I may be just making that up. But it does look like there are more hosepipe bans on their way today. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to cut this short. Well, not short. I'm going to leave this now because I've got to go. I've got stuff to go and do my day job. I've got documents to put together. I've got group calls to have. Haven't got any. No group chats, no message on the group chats, but I will be back on later today, guys, 8 o'clock or maybe a little bit before, and I'll see you later.